My name is Molly Shannon. I am reading Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach. My mom gave me this book when I was in middle school, and I think it's a good story to read, especially for teenagers and anybody that's struggling to find themselves. This is a good story about being true to yourself and not really worrying about what other people want you to be and just following that spirit within you. It was morning, and the new sun sparkled gold across the ripples of the gentle sea. A mile from shore, a fishing boat chummed the water, and the word for breakfast flashed through the air. Still, a crowd of 1,000 seagulls came to dodge the flight for bits and food. It was another busy day beginning. But way off alone, out by himself, beyond boat and shore, Jonathan Livingston Seagull was practicing. 100 feet in the sky he lowered his webbed feet, lifting his beak, and strained to hold a painful, hard twisting curve through his wings. The curve meant that he could fly slowly, and now he slowed until the wind was a whisper in his face, until the ocean stood still beneath him. He narrowed his eyes in fierce concentration, held his breath, forced one single more inch of curve. Then his feathers ruffled. He stalled and fell. Seagulls, as you know, never falter, never stall. To stall in the air is for them disgrace, and it is all dishonor. But Jonathan Livingston Seagull, unashamed, stretching his wings again in that trembling, hard curve, slowing, and stalling once more, was no ordinary bird. Most gulls don't bother to learn more than the simplest facts of flight. How to get from shore to food and then back again. For most gulls, it is not flying that matters, but eating. For this gull, though, it was not eating that mattered, but flight. For more than anything else, Jonathan Livingston Seagull loved to fly. This kind of thinking, he found, is not the way to become popular with the other birds. Even his parents were dismayed, as Jonathan spent whole days alone, making hundreds of low-flying glides, experimenting. He didn't know why, for instance, but when he flew at altitudes less than half his wingspan above the water, he could stay in the air longer. With less effort, his glides ended not with the usual feet-down splash into the sea, but with a long, flat wake as he touched the surface with his feet tightly streamlined against his body. When he began sliding into the feet-up landings on the beach, then practicing the length of his slide in the sand, his parents were very much dismayed indeed. "Why, John, why?" his mother asked. "Why is it so hard to be like the rest of the flock? John, why can't you leave low flying to the pelicans and the albatross? Why don't you eat, son? Your bones and feathers." "I don't mind being bones and feathers, Mom. I just want to know what I can do in the air and what I can't. That's all. I just want to learn, Mom." And if you read the rest of the book, it has a lot of good points about after you make your own decisions and not worry about what other people make, it makes yourself happy. And the end of the story, Jonathan ends up being a lot happier than the rest of the seagulls and ends up living a lot longer than everybody else, even though he ends up being isolated from everybody and he ends up having to, be on his own. He ends up living longer and being happier than everybody else.